Well, while my draft video gets downvoted, and I can only assume it's because I don't discuss what happened at the draft. Part of the reason I don't discuss it is because I did that video already. People who've been a fan of my channel for a long time will remember I got into the whole 99 draft and Brian Burke and what he did to get the Sedins, so I don't need to do that video again. I'm just doing a recap of the 99 2000 drafts, which were... I don't need to get into the Sedins because I've talked about the Sedins quite a bit. If anything, it gives away my fandom when I talk about the Sedins as much as I do. So I thought, you know what, I've talked about the Sedins a lot lately. And the 99 brilliance of Brian Burke coming out of that draft with two probably Hall of Fame talents. Let's look at it from another angle. Let's look at who the steals were in that draft and that they're good players later on in that draft and guys who are still in the league from both drafts and, you know, that kind of thing. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I get that. Now, today's action. It's kind of tricky for me today because we're going to be out. There are some Scouts and Cubs related activities that the boys are doing. So I am going out with the fam today. So I will not be home for a lot of the hockey going on tonight. I'm hoping to be home by 7 o'clock. So I can catch the Canucks and the Sharks because that game should be, at the very least, physical. The Canucks and the Sharks don't like each other. The Canucks are severely undermanned due to the mumps. So anybody who's betting the Canucks to win tonight, you could win big, whether it's on sports action or whatever you use for that. I always found it weird that professional sports frowns on gambling, and yet sports action is a thing. So they don't want to be associated with gambling, and yet tons of gambling in sports. It's so weird. It's really strange to me. It's like, all right, well, that's allowed, but we're not going to allow gambling, because that's bad somehow. I don't know if it's a Pete Rose thing or what it is, but Pete Rose could gamble on sports action. He can't get in the Hall of Fame, but he can gamble on sports action. All right. So today and tonight's games. This afternoon, and then part of the reason I'm doing this video is because the games start early. Anaheim is playing LA. This is key for LA. If the Kings want to not drop out of that conversation as a playoff team, if they want to fall out of my little board here where I've got them as a on the cusp team, they have to win this. They at the very least have to get a point. They can't afford to lose in regulation because they're going to get left in the dust pretty quick here. Anaheim, I guess I can watch the start of that game before we leave. Hopefully. I know we're doing a bunch of stuff starting at 2 o'clock, and I probably won't be back till 7, so we'll see. But I want to see Patrick Eaves playing for the Ducks. I want to see where they put him. I want to see what line he's on. I think he'll excel. I really do. The Islanders are playing Columbus this afternoon. This could be a fantastic game. You have a Columbus team that's been struggling lately. A team that probably overachieved with their million wins in a row situation. 16 in a row they won. All kidding aside, they won 16 in a row. And I think it's got them way up at the top when realistically I think they're more middling than that. And they're facing an Islanders team that is just charging. The Islanders have just charged up. And if the Islanders can win this game, thanks to Florida losing back-to-back, the Islanders can start potentially making plans on buying on Wednesday, on renting a guy or two. And the Islanders can enter the conversation as a legitimate threat. And I think as a wild card team with nothing to lose, and the fact that, you know, they won a round last year, first time they've won a round since I think it was 93. I don't know if they're a team that you want to play in the first round. There's so many things with the Islanders that are unpredictable. They've got a relatively new coach. Greiss can be really good at stealing games. Their blue line is good, not great. Their offense is good, not great, but they've got Tavares. So, and they've got a lot of good, solid players. And a guy like, I'm pretty sure Chimera's got 15 goals for them. And Ladd started getting better at least from a goal perspective. And if Ladd can pot a few goals in the playoffs, yeah, the Islanders definitely have a shot at pulling off an upset in the first round, especially if it's a team like the Capitals where the pressure is just going to be really, really heavy. The Capitals need a first round like last year where it was Philly, a team that they just overwhelmed. If the team they're playing in the first round is a team they can't just overwhelm just by sheer talent and depth, they could really make me look like an idiot for taking the Win Stanley Cup, and they probably will. The New York Rangers are playing the Devils. This is one of those games where the Rangers should be able to get up for it. The Devils are a nearby rival. They usually get up for these games. It's really a matter of, can the Rangers get on a really good hot streak here, bury Columbus, and the Islanders relegate them to being down there and the Rangers being up here and fighting with Pittsburgh, or the Rangers can be fighting with Columbus. Because if the Rangers can get home ice in the first round against a team like a Pittsburgh, I want to say, or Washington, I can't see anybody catching Washington at this point. The Rangers could be really, really dangerous. It's a lot of it's going to depend on Lundqvist. Lundqvist had trouble in last year's playoffs. Can't repeat that. He needs to be better, and I know he can be. Washington's playing Nashville. That's a key game for Nashville, really. Nashville needs to keep the pressure up. St. Louis has to be looking over the shoulders. They have to be scoreboard watching. Players will always say they don't, but they always do. They do a lot of scoreboard watching. So I think I'm not really taking picks, am I? It's just such a tough call. Like, if I had to make a call, I would say Anaheim beats LA. I would say Columbus beats the Islanders. I would say the Rangers probably beat Jersey and send Jersey straight into complete sell-off. And I would take Nashville over Washington. Washington's looked good the last couple of games, but not unbeatable. And I think Nashville has the ability, and I think with Forsberg playing as well as he has, he's not going to get another hat trick. He can't. But, they're firing on all cylinders right now. Montreal, Toronto. This is the one everybody's talking about, and regretfully, I'm probably going to miss this game, and I'm going to be kicking myself. I honestly think that if Toronto wins this game tonight, Montreal goes into a full panic. And this is a team that's already fired its coach. This is a team that Bergevin's already taking a bunch of heat. And I don't think Bergevin deserves all the heat for this. I mean, there's been injuries. There's the fact that players just get older, whether it's Plekanec or it's Markov, and they've never been in a position where they're selling. So for Montreal, I feel bad for Bergevin on one level, and yet it's Montreal, so I don't completely feel bad. So we'll see. If I had, gun to my head, who am I going to pick? I would pick Montreal to win the game. But I think it's going to be close. But I do think Montreal should win this game. Montreal, their tailspin's gone far enough. Julian has to kick in at this point. Julian's a really good coach. And I think tonight could be the start of it. And also, I think Toronto right now is probably a little bit over their heads in terms of where they are in the standings. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Man, this is going to be interesting because this is the outdoor game, right? This is where they're calling for thunderstorms. And it was 77 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. This could be a disaster. This game could still be going when I come home because they may have to wait until later to hold it. 8 o'clock Eastern time, that has to be later than what they had originally intended. Likely for that reason, for temperature, for thunderstorms, whatever else. It is going to be really interesting to see what happens. Really, really interesting to see what happens. I can't handicap an outdoor game where the ice conditions could be garbage. I can't handicap an outdoor game where it could be too hot to have a game. I can't. So whatever you guys think is going to happen, you go for it. I really don't know. Because the ice could be awful. Conditions could be terrible. It could take a long time to play the game. You could see a lot of divots in the ice, a lot of dangerous issues taking place. So If this was being held in a regular arena at a regular time of day, I would say take Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's up here and Philly's down here. But, you know, there's two things that work here. The potentially crap conditions. I really hope they're not. I really hope that, you know, this turns out to be an idyllic game and we're just forgetting all about what the conditions are going to be. And the other thing is that there's a huge rivalry between Philly and Pittsburgh. So even though you look at the standings and they're this far apart, Philly always gets up for these games. Philly always gets up for games against Pittsburgh, and Philly desperately needs the win. So if I had to, Philly. If I had to take a pick, I'd say Philly. Buffalo's in Colorado in the Michael Grigorenko Bowl. The team with Grigorenko loses. I will take Buffalo. I can't rightfully take Colorado in anything. Buffalo needs to string wins together, or they're mathematically out. If Buffalo loses this game tonight, this is when I would say that it's time to fold up the tent and go home and sell off some assets. Buffalo doesn't have a lot of attractive assets for the deadline, but they have a couple, and we'll see what happens there. And San Jose and Vancouver. This is academic. San Jose should win this game going away with 5 players out of the lineup due to either having the mumps or having mumps symptoms. It's stunning. It's stunning that the mumps are a thing in 2017 when there's a needle, just you're immune. There's a vaccine for that. Vaccinate. Okay. I'm not going to get on that high horse. But yeah, Vancouver, for pride's sake, might pull out a win, but I doubt it. San Jose should just run them out of the building. This should be, I'll say 4-0 is what the score should be, based on 5 Canuck regulars being out, on top of Baertschi's concussion and whatever else you want to throw in there. The Canucks are severely undermanned. And then if, say, between now and game time, Jannik Hansen gets moved, they're even more undermanned. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're just browsing your way through. A lot of growth in the channel the last few days. Strange, weird, and yet fantastic at the same time. And what other hockey channel is there where you can hear kids yelling at each other and a mom yelling at them to shut up? That's just, it's a bonus. It's a bonus feature on my channel, and I appreciate them doing that. Everybody's just getting ready for this thing we're doing today. It's like I said, it's a Cubs and Scouts and dinner, and yeah, it's going to be a full day. I want to watch hockey, but I have to be reasonable. I can't say, well, I want to spend my day every day at home watching hockey. I could, but I'd be single pretty quick. And, you know, there has to be some give and take. So this video is being uploaded a little bit earlier than I probably would have done it if I wasn't going out today. And let me know what you guys think. And I will probably have my phone handy so I can watch any action possible in between now and when I come home. I need to install an app on my phone for that, actually. So maybe I'll get to work on that today. Today might be a good day to do that. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon.